Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. My name is Govinda Dasi. I'm a very early disciple of Srila Prabhupada from the early 60s, mid-60s, from 1967. I met him in San Francisco when he first came there in January of 1967. I was a senior, a college student at the University of Texas, and I was visiting San Francisco. So since I was with him in such an early time, I got to see the beauty of the mission early, when things were really sweet, just like a family. And we were just like Srila Prabhupada's children. We would sit in a semicircle at night in the evenings. Maybe there was only 12 of us, and hear him tell stories about Krishna, tell stories of the spiritual world from where he came. So I wanted to share this with you because I feel that it's my role to inspire those who weren't around him then, but who may have been around him in a previous life. We don't know. So I've written a couple of memoir books. One of them is called A Place of Sandalwood and Roses, and this book is available online. It's mostly about the very early times in 1967, when Srila Prabhupada was with us, before his heart attack and the time he went to India. And then, just recently, it's available online, just recently, my second book has just come out, and it's called Those Magical Days of Sandalwood and Roses. And this is a kind of an adventure book because it's the whole year that we were traveling with Srila Prabhupada in cities all over America, from San Francisco, Los Angeles, Boston, New York, Montreal. Just those very early times, the very beginning temples, there were some of them only had 3 or 4 devotees. In fact, I remember in Boston, there was just a handful, and there was no big reception. When Prabhupada came to the airport, Radharani took a taxi and picked him up at the airport. Of course, we were there, too, but there was hardly anybody. And so this is the glorious story of how the tiny seedling that was planted, called ISKCON, grew into a big tree. There's more to come. But right now, this is what we have. We have these 2 books. One is 67 and one is 68. And the next book, which is about to come out, and which I would like to talk to you about here, it's called Divinity. And it's a little bit different because in it, I describe the situations that have taken place since then. My travels in India with Srila Prabhupada in 1977 for the Kumbh Mela, and my time in Hawaii when Tulsi Devi came, and Srila Prabhupada's visits to Hawaii, his installation of the Panchatattva. So many things are described in this book, along with something very, very important, and that is the description of his sacred words, how he wrote his books, and what he had to say about them. I would like to read the first chapter to you. It's called When the Bells Stopped Ringing, just so that you have an idea about the book. The Vedas are my eternal sound, my eternal transcendental sound incarnation. Therefore, the Vedas are śabda-brahma. This is from the Ishopanishad. śabda-brahma, sound, sacred sound. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. John 1. All Vedic mantras come as sound from God, pure, unmistakable, inimitable sound, for eons, from master to disciple. Then Kali came, memories failed, so written form was needed for the pure sound. Yet the pure sound remained. It was with pure sound vibration that Srila Prabhupada spoke his sacred book. He spoke his books for transcription, pure sound stanzas coming directly from God, blazing sounds that would awaken the world. I haven't written these books, he said. Krishna has written. Krishna has dictated. Books dictated by God, whispered in the wee hours of the morning. Srila Prabhupada's voice, like the sound of temple bells. They rang out throughout the world and penetrated the layers of darkness. Then the word carvers came, and the bells quit ringing. They fell silent. The bells were stolen. The pure sound was lost, stolen by foolish efforts to make them more perfect, when already they were perfect. So the bells went silent, stolen, those same bells that had rung the same way for eons. It was the crime of the century. In 1967, it was those same pure sounds that echoed in a tiny storefront in the dirtiest, darkest part of New York City. And the wilted flowers, America's youth, sprang to life. It was the power of the pure sound, the life-giving sound vibration like the bells of ancient temples. Sound was all we had. Srila Prabhupada's voice singing the morning prayers with pure devotion, his voice lifting us to mystical dimensions of divine love, sound, those sacred sounds, were all we had. There were no volumes of books, yet they came later. We only had Srila Prabhupada's voice and his 3 books that he brought from India, not yet carved into proper grammar, but powerful just the same, because they held the sound of his voice. Then when the word carvers came, with their word perfect tools, his voice was stolen, and the bells went silent. They stole the sacred sounds of the bells that had been ringing for centuries. This is the story of those mystical bells now lost to mankind in a world that so desperately needs to hear them again. This book describes the theft as well as a way to restore those pure sounds of the bells that are so much needed by the lost souls of Kali. Although when a pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky. His voice is spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam 4:25. Hare Krishna.